The real reason most people never build wealth. Let me be honest with you about something. Most people think the reason they're not building wealth is because they don't make enough money. They're wrong. I spent a decade in finance. I got a degree in it. I got accounting qualifications. I worked in investment banking. I sat across from people who made six figures, seven figures, and still had nothing to show for it. And I sat across from people making average salaries who were quietly, steadily building real wealth. The difference had nothing to do with income. It had everything to do with what's happening inside their head. So today I want to walk you through the real reason most people never build wealth. And I'm going to be specific because vague advice doesn't change anyone's life. Let's get into it. Here's the thing nobody tells you at the start. Wealth is not about how much money comes in. It's about how much money stays. Think about that for a second. There are people right now who earn three times what you earn and are deeper in debt than you. And there are people earning less than you who are quietly stacking savings every single month. The gap between those two types of people is not a paycheck gap. It's a habits gap. And habits live in your behavior, not your bank account. So what are the behaviors that are silently killing your wealth? Let's talk about the big ones. The first one is paying yourself last. This sounds simple, but most people get this completely backwards. Here's how the average person handles their paycheck. Money comes in, rent goes out, phone bill goes out, subscriptions go out, social plans get funded, and then, at the very end of the month, you save whatever's left. But here's the problem. There's almost never anything left. Life finds a way to fill every dollar you leave sitting there. A dinner out, a sale, something broke, something came up, and so you save nothing, again. And next month, you tell yourself you'll do better. You won't. Not with this system. The people who actually build wealth do the opposite. The moment money hits their account, they move a minimum of 10% straight into savings. Before rent, before anything. They treat it like a bill, a non-negotiable one. This is called paying yourself first, and it works because it removes the decision. You don't get to choose whether to save this month. It's already gone, already safe. The psychological shift here is huge. Instead of saving what's left, you spend what's left. That's a completely different game. Start there. 10% the day you get paid. Automate it if you can. Don't even let the money sit in your checking account long enough to tempt you. This one habit alone will change your financial life more than any raise you ever get. But there's a second habit that's keeping people broke, and it's sneakier. It's getting comfortable with debt. Not the emergency kind, not the strategic kind, the lazy kind. People are using debt to buy clothes, buy gifts, buy things they could easily save up for if they just waited 3 weeks. Here's the rule I live by. If I can't pay for it in cash right now, I'm not buying it on debt. Full stop. Now I know some people will push back on that, but hear me out. Credit card companies are not your friends. They are businesses. And the way they make money is by betting that you won't pay your balance in full every month. The average credit card charges around 22% interest. 22%. That means every time you carry a balance, you're paying a massive premium on top of whatever you bought. That dinner you put on the card, it just got 30% more expensive. Those shoes? Same story. The rewards points and cashback deals these companies advertise only work in your favor if you pay in full every month. Otherwise, you're paying way more in interest than you're ever getting back in rewards. Bad debt is a trap designed to look like a tool. The people building wealth know the difference. Now here's where it gets interesting. Even if you start paying yourself first and killing off bad debt, there's still a gap most people miss. They don't know their numbers. I'm not talking about knowing roughly what you earn. I mean really knowing. To the dollar, what comes in, what goes out, where it goes. There's a phenomenon called lifestyle inflation, and it's brutal. The more money you make, the more you spend. Pay rise comes in. Suddenly the apartment feels too small. The car feels too old. The holidays need to get better. And you end up working harder to fund a lifestyle that's grown to match your income, and you're no better off than before. The people who break this cycle track everything. They know their assets, they know their liabilities. They know exactly where they want to be in 5 years and what it'll take to get there. And here's the thing, just writing down your numbers changes your behavior. Something about seeing it in black and white makes you want to fix it. You stop making excuses and start making decisions. So before you do anything else, sit down this week and write out your income and your expenses. Every single one. Be honest with yourself. That number staring back at you, that's your starting point. Now you can actually plan. The next habit is one people don't think of as a money problem. Expensive hobbies. Look, I'm not saying don't have fun. Life is for living. But there's a difference between enjoying your money and mindlessly leaking it. Some hobbies cost a little and bring a lot. Some hobbies cost a fortune and become a lifestyle you can't really afford. Shopping is one of the biggest ones. It feels productive. It feels like self-care sometimes. But if you're spending hundreds every month on things you don't need, those are hundreds that aren't building your future. The fix isn't to cut everything and live like a monk. The fix is to be intentional. Ask yourself, is this spending bringing real value to my life? Or is it just habit? Most of the time, when you actually stop and ask, you already know the answer. Now this next one is the mistake I see the most, even in people who are doing everything else right. They think saving is the main answer. It's not. Saving is half the equation. But there's a ceiling to saving. You can only cut so much. At some point, you're eating rice every night and never leaving the house, and you've squeezed everything there is to squeeze. The other side of the equation, making more money, has no ceiling. There's no limit to how much you can earn. None. Whether it's asking for a raise, building a side hustle, freelancing, investing in skills that make you more valuable, the upside is infinite. The wealthiest people I've seen don't just save aggressively, they also build income, multiple streams of it. They're thinking about both sides at the same time. So don't fall into the trap of thinking frugality alone is the path. It's part of the path, but you need to be building income too. Think about it like a bathtub. Saving is about keeping the drain closed. But if the tap isn't running, it doesn't matter how tight that drain is. You need water coming in. Here's one most people completely ignore. Taxes. Taxes will likely be the single biggest expense of your entire life. Let that land. Not your mortgage, not your car, taxes, and yet most people have zero strategy around them. They just pay whatever the bill says and move on. The wealthy don't do that. They work with advisors. They use legal structures. They understand the rules of the game. Now, you don't need a team of accountants to start. You just need awareness. Something as simple as investing through a tax-sheltered account like a Roth IRA or an ISA means your gains and dividends grow without getting taxed. That's free money, just from understanding the rules. If you're self-employed or running any kind of business, understanding what you can and can't deduct is worth serious money over the course of your life. The goal isn't to cheat anyone. The goal is to not voluntarily pay more than you legally owe, because every dollar you save in taxes legally is a dollar you can redirect toward building your wealth your way. This is one of the highest return things you can spend an hour learning about. Seriously, the last one, and honestly the most painful to talk about, waiting too long to invest. I've heard every excuse. I don't have enough money yet. I don't know where to start. I'll do it when things settle down. I'm waiting for the right time. There is no right time. There's just time. And time is the most powerful thing working in your favor when it comes to building wealth. Compound growth is real, and it's almost magical once you see it work. But it needs one thing to do its job: time. The longer you wait, the harder you have to work later to catch up. Someone who starts investing at 22 is playing a completely different game than someone who starts at 35. Not because of income, because of time. And leaving your money in a savings account isn't the safe move you think it is. Inflation is quietly eating your purchasing power every single year. Money sitting still is actually losing value. So once you have your buffer saved, once you have 3 to 6 months of expenses set aside, you need to start putting your additional savings to work. Diversified investments, things that grow while you sleep. You don't need to be an expert, you just need to start. Because here's the truth. The people who build real wealth aren't smarter than you. They're not luckier than you. They're not even earning dramatically more than you in most cases. They just started. They built the habits. They stayed consistent when it wasn't exciting. And they understood something that most people never figure out. Wealth isn't a destination you arrive at one day. It's the result of 1,000 small decisions made correctly over a long period of time. The good news? You can start making those decisions today, not next month, not when your income improves, not when things calm down. Today, because the best time to start was 10 years ago, and the second best time is right now.